Hello and welcome. I am your host, Angel Salabeled, and today we are welcomed and joined by Kristin Bedford. Wonderful. Thank you, Kristin, for coming.
Thank you.
Much. So Kristin has a book, Cruise Night. This book has been a top seller in 2021. Her book goes into the Mexican American lowrider community in Los Angeles. Kristin has been to hundreds of car shows. And so Kristin's book sold out. Now we have the second print of her book with what are you currently doing in the automotive world specifically that you'd be able to share with us today?
In 2014, I started this project about the Mexican American lowrider community. I have been on this journey since then. The pictures in the book are from 2014 to 2019, so I took them over 5 years.
Okay.
I was not a drive-by photographer. I didn't just go for the weekend, a Friday night cruise night, a Saturday cruise night, Saturday night on Whittier, and then Elysian Park on Sunday afternoon. That is like the weekend.
Yeah, full spread.
The full spread. And while I did this over so many years, I saw people from all over the world and all over the country come and do the long weekend. So I really went deep into it and understanding the meaning of the cars in the community. But to get to your question about what I'm doing now, I'm still really active with the lowrider community, and we've been celebrating the book a lot. And all of the people in the book, have seen it, and I know them well. And so we've been sort of in a party phase right now because the book came out and a lot of people never saw it because it sold out so fast.
Right.
So part of the reason I printed it again is to get it into the hands of the community and also to keep it off Amazon for the time being and get it into alternative models. So record stores, tattoo parlors, places where people in the community would naturally go.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do online shopping. A lot of people aren't going to be going to big box bookstores somewhere. Right. So really thinking about how to integrate the book to where people are in the community. In Los Angeles, for the Mexican American community, lowriding has a really distinct significance. The art and the act of customization is about having a voice politically, culturally, socially, creatively, communally. So there's many, many different layers. In a society that often marginalizes Mexican Americans, you think of the lowrider, low and slow, bajito y suavecito, going down the boulevard. It's a mobile canvas.
Yep.
And it's here I am, and here was my vision. So each one is about having a voice. And that is what interests me about customization, that in the case of the Mexican American community, it has a social justice component to it.
So, Kristin, I do want to kind of segue, right? There had to have been a time in your life where, you had experience in a car, whether you were, leaving the hospital or having a joyride on your first date. Can you single out a moment, a defining moment in your relationship with automobiles specifically?
One memory that comes to mind is from a few years ago. I decided to drive from Los Angeles to New York in my 2018 Tesla Model 3. And at that year, it was a premium car, so it was made with a range of about 308 miles, which enabled me to do that because in some states, there are very long periods of time between superchargers. I would get off and I would often just sleep in like agricultural areas or behind like garden centers, places where they weren't going to maybe come into work anyways till the next day. Nobody was going to these places, no foot traffic. And so this is a long walk to say behind one of these sort of agricultural buildings, I went to sleep. Nothing is covered. And I woke up in a haze, and there were all these like white and light gray horses looking in from all the windows, looking in at me. And there is this moment where we're always like, get out your phone, take a picture, make a video. And I had that like immediate, like, document this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no.
Yeah.
This is like some magical moment in time that doesn't even seem real.
Yeah.
And so I just stayed really still, and they just kept looking in. And we had quite a longer moment than I would have imagined. And eventually they wandered off.
Yeah.
And everything was lit by the moon, too, because you have that, the glass panel on the top.
The panorama.
Yeah. The moon was coming in as well and illuminating the horses, which is also why I could tell that they were, white and light gray. So then I went back to sleep, and I woke up, and I actually thought this was like, that wasn't real. That was a dream sequence.
Oh.
That sort of thing didn't happen. And I got out of the car,
And
there
horse.
were tracks
Okay, yeah.
on the ground, like by my windows, by the doors. And so that was really probably the most magical experience I've
Yeah.
ever had in a car. It was magic. Let's have some comforts here.
Yeah. No, Kristin, now some of our guests are probably going to wonder, where do I get this book? Where do I go to see Kristin's new stuff? If I want to reach out, how do I reach her? Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah. So there's two easy ways to get the book. One is you can order it from LACMA, the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, on their website. It's very clear. And they are one of the major distributors of the book. The second place is directly from me.
Okay.
And on my website and on my Instagram, there's a link to
What's your Instagram handle?
Yeah, it's just my name, actually. It is just Kristin _Bedford.
Nice.
And the big mistake everybody makes is they put Ian. It's actually Ian. Yeah. And so there's links everywhere. My website, on Instagram, on Facebook, which is also just my name. I don't have any cool name.
No, it's a great name.
Photo girl, LA,
No.
something like I have no cool name. And the thing about ordering it from me is I do sign it.
Okay.
And I even inscribe it. And I'll write, like, people have me inscribe it to them in their car.
Yeah.
Or even just to their car.
Right.
I'm like, I'll just write what you want. So that's also fun.
That is fun.
To do it that way. They were printed. The second printing I did myself.
Okay.
I had it done at probably the best color printing press in Italy. So
Keep that
the
secret,
colors are absolutely stunning, and for a book on low riding, so you need to
want
have
the
that.
color, right, because
You can't, that's not where you cut back.
right, the color in the lowrider world is huge. I mean, they're doing
It's
a lot of
everything.
candy apples, they're doing all of those candy
Everything. So this is the most famous lowrider in the world, Gypsy Rose from Imperial's Car Club.
Wow.
And so it's also really important for me to go on press when we print it, because I'm the only person there who knows what Gypsy Rose looks like
in real life.
So for a lot of these cars in here, they are known in the community, and I don't want them to be like, Kristin, that's not what my car looks like when they see the book, but instead to have it represented. So having really good
like the
color,
hues and all of this are very accurate to the actual IRL for all of our younger, the in real life version of these cars.
They're very, very close. So
Yeah.
this is Sandra waiting to go into the Tories Empire car show at the LA Convention Center.
Hanging
in the
out.
lineup. The lineup. So it's called Pinky. I know this. I've ridden in this car many times. I know Sandra. We're friends. I have to go the distance to make sure this is right.
Accurate.
So
yeah.
this is to say this reprinting is really, really
good.
beautiful. The colors sing at just a whole other level.
Yeah.
Can I also talk about the cover?
Yeah,
for a
talk
minute?
about it. Yeah.
Okay. So I had a really clear vision of how I wanted the book to look. Right away, when I started the project, I knew I wanted to do a book, and I knew I wanted to be called Cruise Night.
Yep.
And I knew I wanted to contextualize it in a modernist framework.
It looks nice.
And it became an interesting journey because when I was talking to publishers and book designers who could implement my vision, everyone wanted it to be more street. So
the color and font?
the typeface, yes,
the
the
typeface,
whole
okay.
cover. So
Yeah.
graffiti font, some form of ink, tattoo font,
Yeah.
or typeface is what they say in
Sure.
the publishing world. So it was interesting that even the representation of low riding was boxed in by a style of graphic design.
Wow.
And I was saying, no, I have my own idea.
Yeah.
I have my own idea about everything, about how I wanted to shoot cars, about how I wanted the book to look.
Yeah.
And so I sourced everything myself. This is this beautiful blue rayon-based fabric. And then I got this really great other blue from a German, it's a company, and it's a metallic deboss. And the reason I did it is for two reasons. And one is that when you see a car cruising at night and it goes underneath the street lights,
Yeah.
you see it reflect. Like, you can never just see it as a solid thing, right? It's like constantly moving.
Yeah, tones are changing.
Tones are changing. In fact, most things are changing at night. So here's a good example of nighttime.
Yeah.
That's my friend Raul in his car, Modern Love. Yes, like the David Bowie song. And so that's on Whittier Boulevard. But even there, you can start to see how it's changing.
That's cool.
And so the other reason I did the metallic deboss, to the dismay of the publishers, is because it represents candy paint. And the paint jobs, depending on the light you look at them in and depending on the time of day, they look like different colors. It could be like burgundy from this side, magenta from this side, more of like a pink from over there, depending on how it is.
Yeah.
And the publishers kept saying, well, we can't just see it straight on. We can't see it straight on. They were in Italy, separate from the press.
Yeah.
I had publishers for the first printing and not for the second printing. And they kept saying, and I kept saying, no, the experience of paint jobs is always changing.
Moving, yeah.
Which is why. So I thought about every detail of the book, and even thinking about the color of the LA sky when I chose the Pantone for the paper.
That looks like it.
Yeah, with a little less pollution.
Yeah, a little less pollution. So you told me that these books, or this book, can be bought at LACMA?
Yeah, the LACMA website or at my website.
And your website?
Or it's KristinBedford.com.
Just as it's spelt, with an I, not an E.
Yes.
KristinBedford.com.
IN. And then my Instagram is Kristin Bedford also.
Kristin_Bedford?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I'll be like one of the first, there's not too many. And the other thing is I'm very responsive to everybody, whether it's on Instagram or email. I always write back to people and engage with people.
So there you go, guys. You heard it here. All right. If you have any questions, you want Kristin's book, you want her to sign the book, she is very responsive. LACMA will get you the book. Kristin's website will get you the book and signed.
And I'll write you and ask you, do you want it inscribed?
And do you want it inscribed? So please reach out to her. Her Instagram is Kristin_Bedford. And she is one of the most talented auto photographers that we have in the area.